So, yeah, it's been a couple weeks. Um, just been busy, family, work, every extracurricular thing that there can be. Uh, just been tired. It's been hard, you know, night shift, multiple kids trying to get everything done, and getting home at 8 a.m. and then seeing everybody off and praying to God that I'm able to go to sleep immediately, which is hardly ever the case. Um, Hence why I've been doing this. Uh, yeah, it's 9 a.m. now, and yeah, um, it's been a odd couple weeks. A lot of good, a lot of bad, or not necessarily bad, but just complications, I guess. Just life happening, working through it. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna unload. I don't have a script or anything. This is just pre-sleep mind dumping. And a couple weeks ago, I reached out to a old friend, longtime acquaintance, um, about just some stuff with the family and like why things are difficult for our kids to hang out with somebody. And then nothing bad happened per se, but the way the communication went, it's it's like I don't talk to a ton of people, so I'm not really sure if it's a normal way to communicate, but it seems like not even seems like just verbatim how it was somebody is putting down a family member, putting down my wife for just existing, essentially, having an opinion, living her life, nobody's getting hurt or anything, like whatever. But apparently it's something that is talked behind our backs for years, and that's why our kids have been ostracized from gatherings and everything. And it the the funny part about it was just like the way it was presented to me was as if my wife did something outrageously wrong, that it was kind of like I was her dad, and like it was like somebody telling on somebody else's. It was like somebody was telling on her to her dad. Like I was gonna be like, oh, okay, thank you for this information. I'm going to discipline my wife, which I mean that's a separate thing. But anyway, family friendly. Uh, but it was just like I barely know you. I like I reached out just like for clarifications. Like I know I wasn't mean about it or anything, but at the same time, it's like from that perspective, it's like I appreciate the information, but at the same time, the lack of self awareness that people have, and like, okay, this is something you've been talking about behind our backs for years, having this like opinion of my wife, which is then translating to our kids and their kids, and relatively all these group of adults, women getting together, communicating about this. And then if I hadn't reached out, it still would have been like this kind of like this acquaintance thing that going on, with just social media, being friends on Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff. And it's like we know people in the same circle, and it's like, hey, We see that there's these kids gatherings that our kids see on a regular basis, but then they're not invited to these gatherings ever, nor is there communication on the adult side. And it's just, I don't know. Things are weird. I don't understand. Uh, but yeah, so it was framed as like, yes, I was given an answer and I said I appreciated that, but just the lack of awareness in the comment to where it's like, how is this a one-sided issue? Especially when it's not presented to the side to even do anything about it. It's just, I don't know. I don't get people, but me and my wife, we've been working on trying to, put a finer filter on who we allow into our inner circle, people that we actually allow to make friends with, to keep friends with, and it goes to, it's a mutual thing, and it's like being 40 with kids, and it's like, for the most part, it's like I'd be fine just spend time with my wife and that'd be it. If it was just us, no outside issues or nuances in life, like that'd be fine, even with ups and downs of communication, spouse wise. Like, honestly, we're each other's best friend. That's like, I'm 100% blessed. I know I'm blessed to have that. And it goes to the whole, I think I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos, like our biggest struggle is like being loved so much, like her wanting to spend all of her time with me. And then it's like, I love that. I love spending time with her too, but it goes to the whole not wanting to be selfish or anything, but needing that alone time in a way. And like for half my life, my whole go-to was to seclude myself, go play with Legos by myself when I was a kid, I just did everything by myself. Essentially, I went to the movies by myself quite often. And not that I strive for that, but I don't know. I know where I'm going with that. Just people are fickle, and it's I guess the just something I'm learning late in life. So I'm not just you gotta value, put a price tag on your time with friends, your value on what you want in your life. The priorities need to be set for what you waste your like physical time and just mental time. And that was the big aspect of the decision of, essentially, like, I try to make it as peaceful as possible, but essentially just cutting people out of everything. It's like, I know social media is, it's like, I don't want to be like an online troll or anything to where it's just, oh, this causing drama. My big thing is even randomly seeing that, it's like it holds mental space, it's like, and it's like, I can't allow stuff like that to live rent free in my head, especially when there's so much other stuff going on, much bigger priorities, worries, things going on, trying to advance ourselves and, just to instill in our kids the best way to live life and value things. And it's like, I know I say I'm learning this way late in life, which I suppose a lot of people, the majority of people that are actually even going to be listening to this point in the video, are going to be relatively at the same spot. So I guess we're all learning late in life on where to put these values, how to do it. And that's, it's a struggle, but I'm finding it, the more I'm focusing in on just my family, my wife and my kids, not extended family, not, old friends, that's how this was in this case. Just my immediate household. It's putting a lot of things in perspective of what I'm putting my time into, especially mentally. Like that, like the random thoughts, the random glances of whatever, like, it can take up even 10 seconds of your time isn't worth it, especially when it's a consistent problem. And that's where it's like, okay, it's definitely on me to where it's like, hey, this has been a problem for a long time. I should have addressed it a long time ago. But is what it is. And after the fact, it's kind of liberating. It brings up some other questions though, as far as, okay, so what do you do about making new friends at 40 years old? Stuff that, like, you'd actually want to hang out with people. At the same time, that's a minor thing because, like I said before, I don't know. I don't want to say I could care less about hanging out with other people because it's like it's about connections and whatnot, friends. It's like I have a couple friends, but for the most part, it's just, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. And it's like I'm happy about the situation right now. But like I said, I'm blessed. I have a loving wife and tremendous kids that love me. They want to spend all their time with me. So I realize that isn't how everybody's situation is. And I guess with that, if I didn't have a wife and kids, the biggest thing was be like, okay, put that focus on yourself and making yourself a better version of yourself. Bleh. Making that yourself a better version of yourself with that focus. And then try and get a couple of good friends, you know, even if it's just one interest, have that be that one friend for that one interest, as long as it's a positive influence, you don't want to have that interest just be smoking pot or, you know, making yourself any less of a good person with whatever that is, which I don't know. It's very vague, but oh man, neck is killing me. Um, yeah, I guess outside of that, work has been, easy. I'm very fortunate with the situation I'm in at work. I have a decent, very, very decent job working nights that's very low stress. And um, if I do my job well, consistently enough, it allows for a lot of free time. It comes down to I do preventive maintenance on some machinery. And so as long as I'm doing my job well, the machinery should be doing well. And therefore, I'll have a lot of downtime. And with that downtime, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I've been communicating with AI a lot. Not really communicating, but using it as a learning tool. I've been essentially creating courses to learn things I've really been interested in. And then a big aspect of that has kind of segued into a AI engineering course I've invested probably like 20 some odd hours into, which has been eye opening to say the least, almost giving me a headache on quite a few occasions because of just the mental load. But then doing that, which is another thing I believe I like self-diagnosed ADHD or whatever you would want to call it, where, I'm coding or not coding, but I'm engineering with AI communicating, creating all these different prompts, and they want to help me do research from, anything from ancient biblical history to science tech, science stuff on like the energy of quasar outputs on the distant far reaches of the galaxy that is slowly redefining the age of, what scientists are potentially contemplating the age of the solar system, or quantum mechanics, which that's a whole other trippy subject. So you kind of think that you'll get a roundabout explanation. You're like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. And then you deeper dive and you're like, I have no idea what the hell I'm looking at. it's it's wild stuff. And then going into potential like learning how to code on Python and introducing that into ChatGPT and Gemini, that's Google's AI chat, and creating these courses so I can, I'm implementing some stuff from work and then doing this AI engineering, which is, kind of opening up a huge world of, I guess, side hustles you could think about applying it to, or, just advancing your current work situation. And I don't know. AI has been a huge topic on my mind, because it's just, it's everywhere, and it's inevitable of its impact that's going to happen. That it's going to have an enormous impact on our lives moving forward, and it seems exponential too. Like how it's kind of happened over the course of what I think has been 2 years is unbelievable, from how it started to where it is now. It's truly remarkable. Like it's amazing and like an awe-inspiring, like wonderful way, but at the same time it is terrifying. It so I just so all this doing, I'll essentially at 2 to 6 o'clock in the morning every night, on top of I listen to a lot of podcasts and these YouTube shows, which one big one I've been listening to / watching lately is Diary of a CEO, and I can't think of the guy's name right now. He's like, I think he's in his early 30s, and he's accomplished tremendous things, but it's such a nice channel for intelligent, articulated, it's articulated very well, much better than how I communicate, obviously. But like the guests that he has on, like how he runs these interviews that he has, and these it's just it's an excellent channel that's definitely had my attention. But it's like I'm listening to that when I listen to my podcast and stuff, I listen to them at 1.5x, which I'm not sure how many people do that. It's a stinking option on YouTube. I think there's a 4x, which I have no idea who the heck is doing that. Maybe that's for AI to watch the videos or something. I don't know. It doesn't make it. I don't understand that part. But I listen to 1.5x, so that allows me to, be able to listen and still comprehend, but then blast through a 2 or 3 hour episode of whatever these things are in, hour and a half to 2 hours. So it's save some time. But then doing that while I'm doing the AI learning, as well as potentially getting called away to do some calls and having lo-fi playing in the background and doodling. I think that might be a reason why it's difficult for me to articulate thoughts and whatnot, because there's 5 or 6 different things going on at the same time. Like right now, I got my kids want a puppy, and like that's on my mind. It's like I'm thinking about my wife because she's gonna get home from work at 4:30, and it's like I wish I was sleeping so I could be more coherent when she gets home, or even get up early so I can help out around the house, because I'd like to actually spend the majority of my time with my family when they're home, as opposed to it being chore time once everybody's back. Not that doing chores is a bad thing to do as a family, but it's just, boy. Well, then there's finances and insurance, and like I said, the stinking space telescope that is out there taking photos and discovering potential planets and all these things. I was listening to there was a Joe Rogan podcast where he had oh man, I cannot think of the guy's name. He was a astrophysicist that isn't Neil deGrasse Tyson, thank goodness. But just super, well spoken, very articulate, and just you can tell. I love when you can talk to somebody and you can tell that they know what the heck they're talking about because of just the fluency, and just like things are readily on the front of their mind. It's you can tell that's what they're invested in. That's their thing. They don't have all these distractions, or they're not trying to pull information out of nothing, or just totally BS you, which I'm finding that out about what you would call the intellectual community from college graduates, which for the most part you can tell from people at work. Just having people that have a degree doesn't mean that they're smart by any means. Because I know plenty of people that are the smartest. They're the most intelligent, dumb people I've ever met are people with degrees. But with that being said, too, the only people I know that lie more than like drug addicts are essentially those people, the people that are degree holders. Especially it seems like the higher it goes up. I mean, that's based solely off of the academics that I see online, the ones that actually are voicing themselves. Because in my inner circle, I don't have a bunch of friends with PhDs and everything, but I guess the social influencers that are potentially of the high intellect group seems possibly like self-proclaimed as the beginning part of the lie, but I don't know. Seems like a lot of that stuff is just like fabricated. It's like loosely based off fact, but without any actual evidence, and everything's just conjecture and Oi, oi, so many things, so many things, but yeah. So I guess this is like with this mind dump. I guess I'm trying to figure out what trying to figure out what I really want this to be. If this is, I try, I with creating this, I've used AI to help me with uh, a rundown process and of creating like scripts and ideas for the first dozen episodes, and getting all the software I needed, which that aspect helped a ton, and the scripts helped a ton. But at the same time, like I there's like 4 videos I haven't posted that I just feel stupid about reading a script. I don't know, because this isn't like a very professionally edited type uh channel, at least yet, I guess. So having like a script and having it all that type of structure and whatnot seems really strange, especially in a format, because a couple of them were like teaching ones in a way. I guess it's more of not teaching, but like relaying information that I've discovered and do what you want with it kind of information. But I just feel weird. I don't know. I guess it goes to like just a deep seated thing of just self worth issues, which, I guess that's a whole other, that 100% is a whole other topic, generation of neglected children, the non participation trophy generation that were good enough but never got a that a boy. So it's hard to move forward and then relay information and or to talk and act uh, confidently about something, even if you know a lot about the subject or a lot about the topic, and you I don't know, it's just it takes a lot of confidence, I guess, which that's something I'm really working on. But yeah, I guess so. I'm circling back to what this channel is about, and it's like I guess it's gonna be just a little bit of everything, and my mind's all over the place. It's like I guess I could go through I the channels I watch, things I'm interested in, which it goes. It's like I like funny stuff. I like um, movies and video games, and not that I get to play all that often, other than I guess just games with my son and my daughter. She plays some games too, but or kid movies. But I listen to Joe Rogan, the Y Files. Love the Y Files. Um, this new one with Diary of the CEO. He's great. Uh, I guess recently I've gotten into Gary V, which I guess he's been around for a while. I had no idea. I had no idea who he was until literally a week and a half ago. um, but he's a cool guy. I like his. He's got a couple interviews where he just talks about uh, his outlook on life, and it makes it's refreshing, hearing a lot of stuff. You like That's one of my favorite things about, especially with, like the Diary of the CEO and like a lot of people that they have on there, where they talk about just real life, even with them being ultra successful with these prestigious things, these achievements of finance and business and uh, social attention, being online famous in whatever niche they have, you know, even if you have 7 million followers, it's still not, people don't know who you are, like Gary Vee. But it's just nice and refreshing hearing that problems just don't go away. It's life is life, and it's like even with money, certain things obviously are a little bit easier. It's easier to prioritize certain aspects, uh, but money doesn't solve anything. Like the real key priorities of life, it doesn't solve. And then it just makes the whole striving for more and the grind and all that, like, it puts it into perspective of like what you really want. And that's where it's like everybody wants to, from what I perceive, is everybody just wants to not have to worry about necessities. You know, that's a I can't remember that. Oh gosh, I just heard this quote. Um, where they say like you know you've made it financially when you can go out to dinner. You know, you have your structured home life worked out, which was, this is the implication, or the prior context is you have things worked out at home with your regular bills and everything, your food at home, and you know you've made it financially when you can go out to eat with your family, order whatever you want, and pay for the meal without ever needing to look at the receipt. You know, which goes to, you know, not to say like you shouldn't check your receipts, obviously, you know, in case there's like a mistake, but like that underlying worry of like, oh man, do we have enough to go out to eat this week? Is this going to take out of our fun money, or the stuff that we're investing for this, you know, the following week? Or like, you know, okay, everybody, we can only order the half off appetizer, or like everybody just gets water, no drinks type mentality. And thinking about that is like, that would be essentially making it, being able to go and do a somewhat core non-budgeted activity and just go, okay, yeah, we can do this. Oh yeah, let's bring a friend. Well, we can pay for them. That's fine, and not have to worry about it. It just, it is what it is. You have, and you have that security, that cushion, that consistent income where it's not a worry. Man, that's gonna bother me. I can't remember who said that. I can't remember what podcast it was that I was listening to where they said that, and they said it obviously much more eloquently than I just did. But but yeah. So then I guess going to, I had the why files. I, you know, a couple of my close friends say I can be a conspiracy theorist and all that. So I can get on some interesting, fun topics. You know, and it's all for fun, whether it's true or not. You know, it's like I'm always just, I'm open to the whole premise of just, we don't know jack crap about jack crap, and what we think we know could change in 10 years or 10 months. Who knows? Like, just things we know are all based off of other things we know and things we thought we knew, and just everything is open to change. And that goes to understanding about even that goes to just things that we know that are about facts, let alone the basis of relayed information from governments and all that. So it's like, I think there's a comedian where he's like, uh, how does it go? He goes, I want to slaughter this. Uh, Talking about people that believe in conspiracy theories, or people that don't believe in conspiracy theories. And he's like, "Oh, you think the government's batting 1,000?" He's like, "Well, I have a son, and I love him to death. It's only one. It's only one person, and I lie to that guy all the time. So you don't think the government's lying to us?" It's a great line, but it makes a ton of sense, and it's 100% applicable to the government, let alone like everything else. And it's just, and it's it's not even necessarily that there's lies; it's the misinformation or just information that's not relayed, hidden information, which that's part of lying. Withholding withholding information. But yeah, um, I guess I'll cut it off here. So, uh, let's make it a collaborative effort. If there's something specifically we want to chat about, you know, put it down in the comments, I guess, or down down there in the comments. I don't know. I see people doing that. Um, but anyway, yeah. Uh, um, I guess I don't know. Should I have a closer? Should I have like a closing thing? I worked through AI and it told me like I worked out something where it was well, I think I've said it the past few videos of oh crap, what did I say? Uh don't be perfect, be present. But I don't know. I feel like that really only applies to if I'm like doing a video about the family. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll work it out. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just have a closing picture that goes poof, the comment seat. Bye bye.